Welcome everyone to day 2 of the Beginner Yoga Challenge. Today we'll be working on learning some of the warrior positions. So we're doing some of the basics like we did yesterday and then introducing a couple of new poses. So let's get right to it. We'll begin in easy pose, crossing the legs. If crossing the legs isn't accessible, then you can grab your blocks and place them underneath your knees at any height. Wherever you are, make sure you're comfortable. Inhale to elongate the spine all the way up to the top of your head, the crown of your head. Close the eyes for a few moments and move inwards. Roll the shoulders up and back, find length, and gently tuck the chin. Start paying attention to the breath as it passes through the body. So in through the nose, down the chest, and filling up the belly. And then on the exhale, emptying the belly, the chest, and feeling the air softly passing over the upper lip. Softly open the eyes and plant your right hand just outside your right hip. Take a deep breath through the nose as you extend your left arm up overhead. Stay here or reach that arm to the right side, finding length through the ribs. Big, deep breath here. Release the left arm and we will switch sides. Plant your left hand outside your left hip. Wait for your inhale. Reach the right arm up and over, finding length through the spine. Roll the right shoulder back and reach up with the right ribs. Trying to find length in that side body. Inhale, come back through center and find your way back to crossed leg, changing which leg was either on top or in front. Big inhale up and exhale, we'll move through our Sufi grinds. So choosing one direction, working with the breath, making circles with the torso. Remembering that when we get to the back, let's roll the pelvic bone out to the back. Inhale brings you across and exhale around. Once we've done 4 going the one way, we will switch directions and do 4 going the opposite way. Working with the breath, inhale brings you across and exhale brings you back. Nice and slowly. Giving a little extra love to any spots that might be a little bit sore or tender. Taking your time. When you're finished, we'll meet in easy pose once again and find our way to hands and knees or tabletop. And we'll work through some cat-cows here. So toes are tucked, hips are over the knees, shoulders are over the wrist. Inhale, drop the belly, arch the back, look up. Exhale, round it all out. Gaze comes to the navel. Inhale, drop the belly, arch the back, look up. Exhale to round. 2 more just like that. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale to round. And last one, inhale, arch the back, look up. Exhale to round. Come back to tabletop. We'll untuck the toes, widen the knees, and we'll send the hips back for a child's pose. Option to place the block underneath the sit bones. Wherever you are, reaching the hands forward and sinking through the hips. Relax the forehead to the mat. Draw those shoulders away from the ears, keeping the spine long. Couple breaths here, in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale, press back up, tuck the toes, walk the hands forward a little bit, and we'll drop the chest down for puppy dog. So same as you did yesterday, if you need the block underneath the chest, you're welcome to grab that. Maybe also putting one under the forehead, or perhaps trying today to see if you can not use the block. See how open the chest is today. And just know that every day your body will be different, so although you could do something yesterday, today it might feel hard, and that is totally normal. wherever you are. One more breath. And then we'll softly press through the left hand, come back up halfway, and we'll reach the right arm underneath the left shoulder, finding our twist. Trying to keep the hips over the knees and keeping the hips square so our right hip bone isn't poking up to the sky. Inhale, press through that left hand, and we will switch sides. Making sure there's no pain in the neck or in the shoulder, and if there is, just come out of the posture a little bit. Maybe placing a block under that left shoulder. Inhale, press through that right hand, come back up. And we'll bring our hands underneath our shoulders, and we'll set up for gate. So pivot again on that right foot. The left foot plants. Inhale, the left arm up to the sky. So we have our kickstand full gear here. Roll the palm so it faces down towards the mat, and then reach over with the left arm. Really opening that chest. Send the left hips up to the sky. Exhale, let's release, plant the left hand, and we'll switch sides. So pivot on the left foot, make your kickstand, plant the right foot, wait for your inhale, reach that right arm up to the sky. Roll the shoulder, the palm down towards the mat, and reach with that right arm. Right shoulder stays pulled away from the right ear. So we're keeping that length in the spine through the neck. Gaze comes to the mat, plant the hands. Set back up in your tabletop. Walk the hands slightly forward, and then send your hips back for our first downward facing dog. Taking a moment to pedal out the feet, finding any movements your body craves, and then we will find stillness. Pressing firmly through the fingertips, keep the elbows rolled outwards. So we're keeping a nice strong base here. Gaze comes between the hands. Step that right foot all the way up in between the hands, and we'll pivot on the left foot. So we're setting up for warrior one. So left foot is at about 45 degrees. Right knee is over the right ankle, and those hips are facing forward. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead, keeping the shoulders and the hips square and facing the front of the mat. Same thing as yesterday. If you find it a little bit hard to balance, just widen the stance. If that left heel isn't touching the floor, don't stress. You'll get there. Inhale, straighten the leg. You may need to take a small step up with the back foot. And we're setting up for pyramid. So you might need to get your blocks probably on the highest setting. Let's send the hips, square them, roll the shoulders up and back, and then reach forward with the chest. Let's make sure that right hip is not creeping forward. It tends to do so in this position. So take your right hand and just gently press it back. And then we'll keep reaching with the chest. So the idea here is we're not rounding through that lower back as the beginning of the movement. Beginning of the movement comes from the top of the body. Slight bend in that right knee. And then inhale, step it up. We'll just step to the top of the mat. Take a moment in Tadasana, mountain pose. Hands, palms face forward, shoulders are rolled back. Catch your breath here. All right, let's set up for the opposite side. So right foot comes back about 45 degrees. Left foot faces forward. Square off those hips, send them to the front of the mat, and then we'll bend through our left knee. Left knee comes over the left ankle. Draw that belly to the spine, and inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Warrior one on the opposite side. Virabhadrasana 1. Shoulders roll away from the ears. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Take a small step up with that right foot, and we'll set up for pyramid on the opposite side. So once again, maybe reaching for the blocks. This time we're going to press the left hip back with the left hand, making sure our hips stay nice and square. And then inhale, reach forward with the chest and come down. Doesn't matter how far you go down in this. This is a big hamstring stretch. Don't worry if you're up on your thigh, that is totally fine. Find your edge and work with it. Exhale, let's release. This time we'll plant the hands and just step it back to downward facing dog. Pressing the mat away with the fingertips and with the feet. Shoulders stay nice and broad here. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, gaze between the hands. Let's step the right foot up in between the hands once again. This time we're going to pivot on the back foot, making it parallel with the short edge of the mat. Coming into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Right knee tracks over right ankle, and open your arms out wide to the side. Shoulders roll up and back, and we bring our gaze, our drishti, just over the front middle finger. Bring your focus there. Lift through the spine, squeeze the thighs together as though we're finding lift. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Once again, you might want to reach for your block. Come into triangle. So start with both legs straight, arms outstretched. Reach forward with the right hand, and then we'll just drop that right hand down towards the mat. Reaching that left arm up and overhead. Keeping a slight bend in that right knee. We don't want to lock the joints out ever. And really reaching that chest open. Inhale to come back up. Step up to the top of the mat. Shake it out. And we'll set up for the second side. So let's take a big step back with the right foot. The foot comes parallel to the short edge of the mat. Left knee tracks over the left ankle. Belly draws up towards the spine. And inhale, the arms outstretched. Bring the gaze over that front middle finger, that drishti over the front middle finger. And really reaching through the crown of the head, creating length. Inhale. Exhale, straighten the front leg, reach for your block, place it on the inside of the left foot, and then we'll reach forward with that left hand. Exhale, drop the hand down, reach the right arm up towards the sky. So trying to keep the body as if you're in two planes of glass here, so that right shoulder is not rolling forward, staying in line with the left. Shoulders are stacked. Let's release the block, plant the hands, and step it back to downward facing dog. Nice bend in the knees here. Again, not worrying about the heels if they reach the floor. Keep the palms gently lifted off of the mat. And then we'll inhale, gaze between the hands, and step all the way through. Send the hips back, straighten out the legs, and reach for your blocks. We'll set up again for Dandasana, staff pose. So place the box on the outer edge of the hip. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Place the palms on the blocks, and then we'll roll the shoulders up and back, finding length in that spine. Just taking a moment here. If you don't need the blocks and you can reach the floor, by all means, just push them away. And release. Let's find a slight bend through the knees and set up for our forward fold. Inhale, find a length in the spine. With the knees bent, let's exhale, reach that chest down towards the thighs. If you can reach your toes, that's awesome. Maybe play with alternating straightening one knee and the other, and eventually finding your forward fold. Just have the option to put the block under the knees for more support. Inhale back up to seated. And let's make sure our blocks are handy. And to come into Virabhadrasana, bound angle pose. So let's place the blocks underneath the thighs. You might need to play for a minute and find the right setting here. So our feet are touching, soles of the feet are touching, knees fall out to the side. Place them on the blocks, and then inhale, find length in that spine. Keep a nice tall spine here. And just sit up tall, breathe, chin stays tucked, finding that stretch through the groin muscle. Release the blocks, place them at the end of the mat, and we'll slowly roll down, one vertebrae at a time. Coming all the way down to our backs. Plant the feet and widen them to the outer edge of the mat. Drop the knees to the center. One heart comes over the hand, the other comes over the belly. Just relax here. Just finding a moment of stillness. Keep the left foot planted. Let's inhale the right foot, cross it over the left thigh. Either stay here or reach for the back of that left thigh, drawing that left knee towards the chest. Press the right knee away from you, finding that stretch in the outer hip. Release this side, and we will set up for the opposite side. So plant the right foot, left foot crosses over the right thigh, and then either stay here or draw that right knee to the chest, interlacing the hands behind the thigh. Keep those shoulders and the sit bones pressed down to the mat. Release the foot, plant both feet, and let's bring our hands either outstretched or to cactus. If you need a block, grab one now. Shift the hips over to the left side, and we'll let the knees fall over to the right side. Option to bring that gaze towards the left. Both shoulders, especially the left, are pressing down to the mat. Inhale, gaze comes back to center, and we'll shuffle the hips all the way over to the opposite side. So hips come over to the right side, and the knees drop over to the left. Again, option to gaze over that right shoulder. Left shoulder stays planted. Inhale, bring that gaze back through center. Release the hips, bring them back to neutral, and we'll hug the knees in. Give yourself one big hug, draw the chin to the chest. And then we'll slowly make our way up to seated. Taking as much time as you need to get there. Finding that same easy pose that you did at the beginning of practice. Elongate the spine, hands come to the knees, and we'll close our practice with one cleansing breath. So exhale all the air out of the lungs. Big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. That's all for our practice today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow on the mat for day 3.